Hey there, fellow gardeners. Today, I want to talk about something really important. Plants that might look beautiful but can actually cause a whole lot of trouble in your garden if you're not careful. You think you're growing paradise, but you might be planting a problem that won't go away. There's a mistake I made once in my garden that I'll never forget. I saw a gorgeous, lush plant at the nursery, full of fragrance, fast-growing, and absolutely irresistible. I brought it home with excitement, imagining how it would transform my little backyard corner. It did transform it into an overrun mess I battled for years. And that's the thing. In gardening, the plants that look like angels often hide horns. If you're here, chances are you've either made that mistake or you're on the edge of making it right now. So here's a reality check from one gardener to another. Some of the most common and charming garden plants are also the most destructive. They're not just hard to control, they're nearly impossible to remove once they settle in. And no, this isn't about rare tropical monsters or exotic jungle creepers. These are plants you'll find in local nurseries, home improvement stores, and even well-meaning neighbors' gardens. Let's break down the most dangerous plants that can slowly choke, crack, invade, and ultimately wreck your garden, and what to do instead. Let's start with the herb everyone loves. Mint. You think of mint and you imagine tea, cocktails, or refreshing summer desserts. What you don't see coming is its underground warfare. Mint sends out runners, called rhizomes, that spread horizontally beneath the soil, and they don't stop. Ever. One root system can spread across garden beds, lawn edges, into cracks between other plants, until it owns the whole space. Even if you dig it out, all it takes is one tiny strand left behind, and it's back within weeks. I learned this the hard way. I spent 2 full summers pulling mint roots only to have them re-sprout near my tomatoes. The worst part? It chokes out your other herbs and veggies in the process. If you still want mint, and who doesn't, grow it only in containers. And not just any container. Put the pot on a paved surface like a patio or concrete slab, so the roots have no escape route. Want something less aggressive with a similar scent and charm? Try lemon balm. It's manageable, easy to grow, and won't overrun your beds. This one gets people every fall. Japanese anemones bloom just as everything else is fading, which makes them incredibly tempting. Their papery petals sway gently in the breeze and they seem to thrive without much effort. But that's the trick. They're not surviving, they're taking over. Like mint, they spread underground and once established, they pop up through mulch, across pathways and into other plants' space. The scariest part is how slowly they begin. In the first season they look perfectly innocent. But by year 2 or 3 they're crawling into places you never planted them. I had a neighbor once who spent 3 years trying to remove Japanese anemones from under her deck. They'd snuck through gaps in the wood and were growing in complete shade with barely any water. That's how tough they are. You want a long-blooming alternative that stays put? Look into hardy geraniums like Roseanne or Brookside. They flower for months and attract pollinators without acting like floral bullies. There's a romantic charm to ivy-covered homes, especially those old red brick facades dripping with green. But English ivy is a structural hazard in disguise. Its rootlets grab onto surfaces with the strength of superglue. They creep into mortar, cracks, and wood, trapping moisture that leads to mold, rot, and damage. But what people often forget is that ivy doesn't just hurt walls. It also climbs trees where it blocks sunlight and adds tremendous weight. I've seen mature trees fall during storms, not because of wind, but because ivy had turned them into green sails. And if you're trying to grow a diverse garden with native plants, English ivy doesn't care. It will smother everything beneath it, creating a monoculture where nothing else survives. If you're into the idea of a climbing plant, use Virginia creeper or Boston ivy. Both are easier to remove and much less damaging. Ever seen a vine grow 4 inches in a day? That's Russian vine, also known as the mile-a-minute plant. It's often sold as a solution for fast coverage on fences or, ugly walls. But here's the problem. Once it covers those things, it just keeps going. By midsummer, it can wrap entire trees, sheds, even light poles. It chokes out light, kills underlying plants, and actually grows back twice as fast if you try to cut it down. I made the mistake of helping a friend plant it around her pergola. A season later, we couldn't even see the pergola anymore, and she's still trying to remove it 4 years later. There are better vines out there. Try honeysuckle, climbing roses, or clematis for coverage without chaos. If you're thinking about planting Leyland cypress for privacy, just pause for a second. This tree grows fast, up to 4 feet per year, and honestly, that's exactly why it becomes a problem. Within a few seasons, what starts as a neat row becomes a dense dark wall needing constant trimming. Even worse, its shallow roots make it vulnerable to falling during storms, especially when it's top-heavy. It also hogs sunlight, water, and nutrients, making it a garden killer, not just a privacy screen. I've removed 6 of these from one property, and let me tell you, cutting them down is easy. Removing the roots? Not so much. For a better screen, use arborvitae, viburnum, or wax myrtle. They offer height, coverage, and don't come with a chainsaw bill. We all dream of that peaceful bamboo grove rustling in the wind, but plant the wrong kind, running bamboo, and you'll spend the next decade battling its spread. This stuff moves underground like a stealth army. One season it's a screen, the next it's bursting through patios, foundations, and even your neighbor's yard. The removal? Brutal. Even a small piece of rhizome can regrow. You'll need physical root barriers at least 30 inches deep, or better yet, just skip it altogether. Clumping bamboo is the safer route. It grows in place and doesn't send runners, or go with ornamental grasses like fountain grass for a no-fuss visual similar to bamboo. This one might be the biggest ecological threat on the list. Purple loosestrife thrives in wet soil, around ponds and ditches, and its flowers are undeniably gorgeous, but it produces up to 2 million seeds per plant each year. Yes, million. Once it takes root, it wipes out wetland ecosystems, pushing out native plants and the insects, birds, and amphibians that depend on them. In many regions, it's now classified as a noxious weed, and for good reason. If you're after purple blooms near water, plant blazing star or bee balm instead. They're equally showy and 100% non-invasive. The trailing lavender flowers of Chinese and Japanese wisteria are mesmerizing, but underneath that elegance is a monster. These vines are woody, heavy, and extremely invasive. They wrap around structures and trees, snapping branches and warping trellises. Worse still, they spread by seed and root suckers, meaning they can sprout dozens of feet from the original plant. Once rooted, removing them is like wrestling ropes that don't want to come out of the ground. Want the look without the mess? Choose American Wisteria, Wisteria frutescens. It's native, better behaved, and still puts on a floral show. Despite its angelic name, Tree of Heaven is one of the most aggressive trees you can plant. It grows where other plants fail: sidewalk cracks, abandoned lots, and toxic soil. It spreads fast through root suckers, and worse, it releases allelopathic chemicals that kill nearby vegetation. Cut it down, it comes back stronger. Let it grow, it dominates everything. To make matters worse, it hosts the spotted lanternfly, a pest that's devastating crops and hardwood trees. If you want a fast-growing shade tree, plant serviceberry or redbud instead. They're beautiful, native, and won't destroy the land around them. Gardening is about balance, between beauty and function, growth and control. The worst mistake you can make isn't about color or layout. It's about planting something that won't let you take back control. These deadly beauties lure us in with fast growth and vibrant flowers, but what they leave behind is work, regret, and a damaged garden. So before you plant that next easy grower, stop and ask, what happens when I want it gone? Because with the wrong plant, you won't be the one making decisions anymore. Thanks for digging in with me here at Soil and Crop Central. If you found this helpful, subscribe and hit the bell so you never plant another garden nightmare again. Got a horror story or a plant that shocked you? Let's hear it in the comments. Let's grow smarter, together.